with Robert Reese. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Hot facts. Come and get them hot facts. Get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. Come and get them hot facts. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Hot facts. Robert Reese. Hot facts. Hot facts. Robert Reese. Hot facts. Gig economy. Robert Reese. News channel. The gig economy. News channel. Hot facts with Robert Reese. Hot facts with Robert Reese. Hot facts. 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 Hey. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. Hot facts. Hot facts. Robert Reese. Gig economy. News channel. Hot facts with Robert Reese. Sit back, relax, and listen. Yes. I like my song. I'm sorry. I like my song. And this is the hello everyone. Hello everyone. Yes, from Canada, Gig Wars official. People, if you did not get the I got notified, which means you should have got notified. I got notified. Said Gig Wars official, like it said Canada, and I was like, Canada? International? Doing some stuff right there. I was like, yeah. I said, see, that's good stuff right there. That's good stuff right there. People, I'm just letting you know, if you're trying to expand and grow your brand, sometimes you got to step away from the soil. Other people will give you what you need. You almost expect everyone to be loyal, but it's not guaranteed. So expand your horizons and do your thing. Do your thing. Every gig content creator out there, go ahead and do your thing. Do your thing. Don't let nobody hold you down. By the way, people, you are watching Hot Facts with Robert Reese. This is the official news channel of the gig economy. Okay? And also, make sure you tune in to the Boardroom. It is a series dedicated to delivery drivers who deliver content on social media. We're going to see if what they do translates over here and how we can bring in some information that we can all learn from, but it can help their business out also, and they can figure out, hey, oh, you know what, at this and that. The Boardroom is there. We got great ones going on all the time. Check it out. It's also available on the podcast. Boom. If you ain't got time to watch, you can listen. Make sure you tune in to the DoorDash Revolution. He's almost there at his 1K subs. Make sure you tune on in. He is the man you were looking to get the information from if you were doing earn by time in the whole gig economy. There is no one doing it like him. If you listen to what he is saying, it is great. And I'll just give a little spoiler alert. Um, we got something coming up that's gonna really, when I mean really help every single person in the gig economy, it is going to help every single person in the gig economy. We've been in the lab, in the classroom, and we are just about ready to let you guys know what it all is. It's going to help everybody out there, no matter what market you are in. Collaborations, people. Collaborations. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to find some drivers to talk to. Here's the thing. I encourage, all right? I encourage every single gig content creator to get other drivers, merchants, or whoever involved with your channel. The more you bring into your channel, the more success you are going to have. A lot of people won't do that, but you will. You will be getting live testimonials and everything that can't no one else deny. The proof is in the pudding. I suggest if you are really trying to create your stamp and say that I am here for this, do what you got to do. Gotcha. Let me go ahead and put this one up there. Because you know what? That's a perfect segue. Perfect segue. Perfect segue. Perfect. I listened to yesterday's live stream, Robert. In my opinion, it's not a race issue. I think it's a contention issue. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. I want to first apologize. If anyone was hurt or felt any type of way. Secondly, I want to apologize because I used a term for token black dude, which is synonymous around everyone in the US knows. I used the term and I named individual black content creators. I watched the live again, and I do think that I explained it very well. I was not calling you guys like you guys are literally like you guys are playing the role of a token black dude. Like you guys are like you guys want to go ahead and do that. That's what you want to do. I'll just be no, that's not what I was saying there. I was saying in general, throughout all walks of life, throughout all walks of life, someone is gonna say, I like you'll go anywhere and see. You'll see a group of people at like a party or something or anywhere. You'll see a group and you'll see one black dude. Instantly, we just say that's their token black dude. Then the word token is not trying to refer you as an Uncle Tom or anything else like that. So if you felt that way, I do apologize. But I was just saying that, you know, that's what it is. You're not an Uncle Tom because that's not how you carry yourself. And you are not a token black dude. But if you go to an area where there is not a lot of black dudes and you have a cool personality and you get along with everyone, you're going to be hanging out with some of those people. And when you go places, you're going to be the only one in the group, or it might be two or three of you guys. But chances are someone else looking outside will say, well, that must be their token black dude. I was just speaking in general like that and I did not try to offend any of you guys. That's not what it was about. It was going along with the complete overall plan of the actual live show. If you watch the entire live show from beginning to the end, you will understand. But I do apologize to any of the people that I named. If you felt I was trying to say that you are a secondary person, I don't want that. That's not what it is. I was just explaining myself. I'm a black dude, lived in Orange County, California, with all the skinheads and white people. You go out there, oh, we're friends with a black dude. I was token black dude. And like still to this day, like I'm in Southern California right now. I meet people from all over the place. And you know, when you go ahead and give someone DAP and no one thinks that they're gonna give you DAP and everything like that, people start to say, "Oh, well, oh, he knows him. Oh, he knows that dude. Oh, what?" And but you become that, and it's not something that's put on your character. That has something to do with your acceptance. And chances are, if you are a token, that means that you have a good vibe and they are willing to bring you with them, but you're still in society's eyes going to be labeled as a token. So I want to make that clear. I want to make that clear for anyone that was offended. Okay. For anyone that was offended by that. Um, I spoke to a few people. Some people thought that some people might take it a certain way. And I thought about it and I was like, well, yes, I understand where you're coming from. You know, some people might take it as you're trying to call some people Uncle Tom and things. So I had to go ahead and break it down again to the context on how I was using that term there, token black dude. So hopefully I cleared that up right there with everyone. But as you see the title of this live, I want to get right into this. You know, you saw my picture with me with the hoodie on, and I look angry, but I'm not angry. That was just a good picture that I like, but I put it there. Angry driver, and then you see me sitting in my personal gym with my kickboxing sparring mitts and everything up there, and I'm sitting down smiling, happy, happy driver, happy gig worker. Me being an independent trainer who's a hands mitt trainer and everything, every client that I brought in, you know, that's how I made my money. That was my gig. That's my gig. So I want to get down to this right now because the bottom line is we have to deal with expectations. All right. So what I mean by this, let's take a look at this. We have thousands of drivers in the United States, hundreds of thousands of drivers. There's drivers all over the place. There's drivers all over the world, right? We all hear the story and we hear people say, well, I left my W-2. Oh, Emilia's in the gym right now. But hello, Emilia, and she's probably watching right now while she's running. People leave W-2s. All right. Now, I'll start with the W-2. I'll start from, you know, what they say you get from a W-2. They say you go to school, you get done, you graduate, you go and get a job, right? They say go get a job. You want a job that's going to give you some hours, some stability with the hours. You know, you want to get your pay. You want to have a guaranteed check. You want to make sure that your job, whatever else it is, depending on what level, you may start off as high school at McDonald's or whatever else it is. You may not get the vacation time. You want to make sure that you got time off, vacation time. More importantly, they tell you to look for a job that has benefits, right? That has benefits. They tell you all those five things for W-2. You get to a W-2, you don't know which one it is. There's so many out there. You try to figure out what you want to do. You bounce around from W-2 to W-2 to W-2. You went from car washer to McDonald's to doing canvassing, selling alarm systems for ADT. You worked in the factory doing license plates. You worked at a place where you're at a warehouse, and your job is you're nailing pallets in with a nail gun. You got to a place to where you're doing some janitorial work. There's all these different things that you can end up doing. You can end up doing clerical work, customer service on the phone, doing data entry, all those things, right? And chances are you bounced around. You bounced around like a lot, trying to figure out what job was best for you. Then you'll get suggestions here. You know what? My dad works at, he works at this logistics company. Well, my dad works for a company that does things with Boeing, and all we do is package the ball bearings and stuff for the planes and things like that. We can get you in. You'll meet people that say, hey, I work for the post office. I'll do this. Hey, I work for the city. You got to take this test. I work for the city. They say that with these jobs, you get the benefits, the time off, the vacation, the everything, and they give it to you in a package to where you can plan throughout the whole year to spend like 2 weeks with your family with no time. And they give that to you. But they give you the medical, the vision, all the dental, they give you all of that. If something happens, you have this act put in, this group helping you out, just in case. And also this job has a union. So it's going to be hard for you to get fired. You do 25 years in, you retire. Do 30 years in, you're out, depending on what you got going on. That's what they preach to people out here in America, to be a brick slayer. My grandfather was the first Black person in the state of California to have a license to buy and sell guns. I grew up working in Price's Bait and Tackle. My grandfather's last name was Price, A.C. Sonar Price. Okay. Price's Bait and Tackle. I was stocking the shelves with what's up, Matthew? I was stocking the shelves with night crawlers and earthworms and bloodworms, and it was a gun store, a bait store, and a liquor store at the same time. He also owned the Chinese food place right next door and the nail salon right next door in the city of Linwood, California, where my mom went to school with Weird Al. He stopped in there many, many times. My family was the first Black family in Linwood to attend Linwood High School. My grandfather was the first Black man in the whole state to have that put there. And bada boom, bada bing, I was put to work. Learning to work from a young age. Learning how to be an employee and understanding structure, but also learning that you can achieve more to become your own boss, because that came from the grandpas. People say, what? Yeah, my dad was in the Navy, was doing his thing. My mom and my dad, obviously, if you have kids now, you understand what level I'm talking about. In the Navy, doing this and that, but grandpa's got it all the way set up. We're from Alexandria, Louisiana, people. That's where I'm from. My mom and them is the first generation to be in California from our family in Louisiana. So we call them Louisianans, though. Bobby, I snap the head and eat them crawfish. I learned what it takes to be a W-2 employee. By playing sports and everything, they instilled that, right? So I grew up like, man, I want to grow up. If my sports and all this stuff don't work, I got to make sure I go get a job that's going to have me with 40 hours, 401k, this and that, do that, and all of that, right? That's how they teach you. But also we had the other side where we taught business. I have lawyers and business owners and everything in my family. And I am like my first cousin, my mom's first cousin, and all them. We grew up as like brothers and sisters and stuff the whole time. So business was always put into us. So growing up, I was always going through from a W-2, but also having a commission sales job on the side, and also working with people who were had me on consignment. I was doing that before I got into this whole gig space. I was learning about what the whole workforce was all about. We have a lot of people that don't even know that. We have people you can break down to whatever race, well, they grow up and they grow up in a system to where it's set up like that. It's all about, and this ain't got nothing to do with no millennial or Gen X or any of that. This has to grow with the educational system that your family has put forth for you guys internally, because you can't get everything externally from the school. Those teachers go through a hard time. So internally with the family and everything else, you start to learn. I had to go to school, then come back and do book reports that my family had set up for me to do, for me to read this book and do book reports and turn them in. I had to go through that. But all that helped me was learn how it is to be a proper employee. You got to learn how to be subordinate first in order for you to learn the other steps of the trade. Okay. Now, once you get that done, you do your thing. You say, man, my sales thing came in. I said, I like doing sales and being my own boss more. I have sold everything from cologne to fish to cars to solar to shirts to merch to socks to toothpaste to professional fundraising, different organizations. I've sold everything under the book. I've sold everything under the book, corporate wise and street wise. I have sold everything except for drugs. I ain't never sold no drugs. I ain't never sold no drugs. Never me. Never put my stuff into that. Never. Grew up in the hood. Grew up in. I can't go to certain spots because I'm liable to get shot, because I grew up in certain areas. But that never stopped anything. That just kept me more focused on doing my goal and doing what I got to do. I've had so many jobs in W-2s from like outside of my family's job. My very first job, okay, I was selling cookies for Brother Bloomfield. Me and my brother, this dude in Compton, was selling the largest cookies, like this large. You get 3 of them, and he would give us. It was me and 4 of my friends and my brother. My brother is not my friend; he's my brother. And 4 of my friends, and we would go from. He would give us the cookies, the oatmeal raisins, the chocolate chips, the white macadamias and everything. And he would give us the cookies, and we would go door to door and sell the cookies in the little white sandwich bags. And we would come back, and when we would go back, he would give us he would have us all go back down and sit down, and he would go over, okay, and you'll walk back out with a sack of money. Okay. That was my first job. My dad wanted to whoop this. I ain't even gonna say the words because my dad's a pet pastor. But back then, my dad wanted to give that dude work because he tried to steal money. He tried to overwork us as being slaves, and my dad found out because we had the ice cream truck. You know what I mean? We playing Street Fighter at the arcade. We doing everything at the laundromat. We ain't even gotta ask mom and dad for 50 cents, a dollar to go. No, we no Monterey Jack cheese Doritos when those first came out. We out there doing it. But then my dad found out that he was, like Jeff Thomas Black said, he's slaving you guys. That was the first thing of app slaving that I have ever experienced in my whole life. Done by a black dude, Brother Bloomfield. That was my first job. Continued to work for my family, and we used to go out and help my mom. My mom used to have paper routes in the middle of the night and stuff. So we would be up at like 2 a.m. and we would be like 8, 9 years old. We're helping my moms out, go out and throw them out, doing it. Dad's job starts in the morning, so like early. So my mom was going out to go ahead and do that because she drove the shuttle bus to pick up the elderly from the home. Okay, good employee, always on time. My dad's doing his thing, but then we have to go help my mom in the middle of the night throw out papers. I'm learning discipline, and I'm learning how to wake up and put things in order. Right, right. Okay. It seems like might want to be just the best employee, right? Yeah, yeah. It don't work out like that though. Now after that, I got a job at 11 years old at Valentino's Pizza. I'm in the back slicing the lettuce, cutting the cheese, making the dough. I'm even making pizzas for people at 11. That was child exploitation. I was bringing pizzas back to the house at 11, family eating some pizza. I'm going out doing deliveries with the delivery dude, and he used to send me up at 11. This dude was Italian too, real long hair and everything. He was cool. He used to send me up to the door with the pizza because they were going to give me the tip. Whenever he used to go to the door, he wouldn't get the tip. So I would go up to the door, get the tip, and then he would give me part of the tip. So I was learning about business even from then, from a place that was a mom and pop's place where I was an employee under the table, getting paid, learning how to do the job. All right. Going through high school, work, did all that stuff, did everything. But something changed. I wanted to be my own boss, start getting into sales, learning how to do all this stuff, start getting into corporate sales, AARP and all these other companies. Start doing all this stuff, getting in. Oh, yeah. Hulk Smash says, I remember doing paper routes. Oh, yeah. Doing them paper routes. Some people even ask you, to bring it up to the door or put it in front of the garage. So you got to even get out your car. What y'all even know about that? I want to be my own boss. I want to do these sales. I'm doing this. I'm doing all this stuff. And I figure out, man, being your own boss works. So then during that same time, I'm like, I'm still W-2 minded though. Someone could have called me and say, hey, Reese, we got this closing deal, this closing job. We need you to go here and look, here's how you go get paid. Go in there and close. You go make your money. You go make your money. Today on my community post, I'm going to put up a picture of how many sales and the things that I did from other companies. They wanted me in there, and I will go in there and do that work for them, and I will get paid pretty well, right? But at the same time, you turn into a corporate like entity to where it's not like it's the phone's always ringing. Oh, the district dude wants to come in. He's flying in from New York. We got to have a meeting about this about this. It's not what you are doing like all the way there. It's what have you done for me the last 30 minutes, 15 minutes of time. I said, man, I love being my own boss. I separated from the corporate world, went solo by myself independently. I have been independently doing my thing since 2008. Independently, doing little things here and there if the money was good, but all the way independently, except for whatever jobs I agreed to with the contracts there. Independently. So I can control time. I can control spending time with the family, doctor's appointments, how I'm going to make my money, doing all this stuff, right? It got real good. It showed me that being your own boss is the best way to go independently, because when my son was born, Trey, going to the hospital, I never knew when I was going to be in the hospital and for how long. How can I stop going to work and doing this and stuff at a W-2 when they'll let you go and fire you? Then you ain't going to have nothing to go ahead to do what you got to do. Being my own boss, building up my clientele and doing what I had to do allowed me to be able, because I was getting contracts signed off for the month. So at the end of every month or the beginning of every month, if I had 15 clients and they were all paying $300 a month, I get all that money right there. I'm able to take these days off, extend their training, give them a couple two, then they'll re-sign early and I'll add those in, throw a couple more in to keep that going. So I am able to go ahead and do all those things. I was able to do all that, learning that being your own boss, owning your own business is the way to go. I was able to do all of that. It got to a point to where I even had to take a step back from that, and I started gig work while my son was in the hospital. I was using gig work to drive, and I figured out that I can make this money that I've been doing with my brother because he brought me in, while being able to go to the cardiologist, go to every single section in the hospital, and actually be able to have time. The gig world did that. These delivery services did that. Now, my whole thing was I never knew what to expect from the gig world. My brother told me, I saw the money that he put up there, but I did not know what to expect. I was going in thinking the expectations of like a W-2, because we're signed up with someone else. I'll give another example. When my wife first started driving, when I got her on, her very first day, she was acting like she was going to her other job. She went to the gas station, put all this gas in the car, got these like monsters and rock stars and stuff, and she was sitting there ready to go, like she was going to get 10,000 orders at one time. But the expectation that she thought she was going to get was the complete opposite from what she saw. She started in a dead time. So now we got to go over these expectations of these delivery drivers. Everything that you get from being at a W-2, do you expect that to be there for you when you do this gig work? You got to understand that when you're at a W-2, you have HR, you have certain laws put in place that you are there and you are protected. Once you want to go into something and say that you are your own entity, you take away a lot of all that stuff that comes with the W-2. So now we got to weigh the odds now. So what are the expectations of someone before they even want to start doing delivery work? Now, I have a link up there. If anyone wants to click this link, this is open now, because I'm going to name some things and we're going to go over these things if you want to speak about this. The expectations of before you start to do the delivery work. Now, we have time. We have money. Money can go over anything that there is. We have maintenance. Maintenance is another one like money that can go wherever else it is. Maintenance, maintaining. I'm not talking about just vehicles. I'm talking about your mental stability. I'm talking about there's a whole lot that goes into maintenance that you get with the W-2s. They even have stations set up at certain corporations where you can go in there if you're feeling sick. They have the doctor. You go ahead and sit. The doctor pops up on the screen and all that stuff. They have things put in place. But the expectations that you have before you start driving, how many hours do you expect yourself to work? Do you think that when you go ahead and do the gig work, if you're working 10 hours a day at a job, do you think that all you have to do is 3 hours of gig work and then you're done for the day? What are your expectations? Let's go hourly wise. How about the commute? How far do you plan to commute to go to work? You got to understand this. You got to understand this. Some people drive 30, 40 minutes to go to a W-2. But when I watch here in the gig space, we got people that drive 30, 40 minutes to go do work on the gig space in the gig world to go do their orders over there. So now you got to talk about commute. What is your expectations? Are you expecting to work closer to home instead of going abroad? Is that one of your expectations? And if so, why would you leave a place? Because some people may end up driving further for the gig space than working at the W-2, which is right around the corner. You got to think about that. How much do I have to spend for lunch every day? Go ahead and get this in here. In retrospect, any W-2 I had was more like slavery. I've never felt controlled in the gig space. Bam. I'm not going to tell you nothing, Mr. Flex, but Eli said that literacy, it goes a long way. Now that slavery thing, I'm gonna branch all the way into that. Let's go to the distribution centers across the United States, from Amazon to Harbor Freight, Skechers right here. We have the World Logistics Centers here. We have all the distribution centers, right? There used to be 2 shifts and you work a gang of overtime and you're a slave with all that heavy work that you were doing. They now have 3 shifts and it's like clockwork every single day. A lot of the warehouses and factories, people say that this is slave work. We're doing the exact same thing. Dum 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 dum. We're doing the exact same thing every single day. Hi ho, hi ho, is off to work we go. All that stuff. That's the sound of the man working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the man working on the chain gang. Even if you're a football player, hoo-ha! How you feel? I feel good. Hoo-ha! Remember the Titans. It seems like it's slavery work and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. As an individual person in this system of the United States, some people can't do the same thing over and over and over again. Some people are doing it and expecting a different outcome, but some are doing it and causing themselves to be insane. Think about the definition of insanity. Just think about that. So we get to the gig world. They say, oh man, from the distribution centers here at all these places, someone with a cargo van can pull on up with their phone and go take orders straight from the distribution center, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all these places. They pull on up, they go take them and do their thing. They go do them. They go make that money being their own boss. I heard Jeff Thomas, excuse me, them names. I'm going to just call him Glitch Dash. He was speaking about, he said Amazon and, Bezos and all them, they got people getting injured and hurt and dying and stuff. I've done many reports on this. I've also worked in the DC as an AM1, been the head trainer of the whole facility of the whole DC. And let me tell you this, even at Amazon, you know, we try to go incident free every 30 days until we get 90 days of incident free. And then there's a reward for everyone that works in there. But let me tell you this, you got people that cut corners, like people that dirty app and multi-app. They don't follow the 2 yellow lines that you have to walk through. They're not listening for the beeps, looking in the mirrors. They'll try to cut someone off riding a double pallet jack, and then they end up getting hurt. You got people that when it's hot, and that we have stations, and you have a cooling fan, a whole swamp cooler that they pull to the inside of your trailer. If you are on the inside of a trailer, that's the only time you're going to feel the heat like that. Also, every safety issue that goes on across America, they're going to bring the blue or yellow towels, soak them in all water so you can put that on your neck. You got the swamp coolers in there that drops that trailer all the way down to a certain degree. You are able to work. There's a lot of people there that don't follow the rules, they don't report, they injure themselves, and then they lie on these reports and they cost these W-2s more money. You got to speak about that stuff, Glitch Dash, when you bring up the stuff, with Amazon and things. I've worked inside the place as someone that's in control and understands the numbers that goes in. My brother is the safety manager, the safety coordinator for a whole region. Okay, I got full information on this. You got to make sure that when you're talking about that stuff, you're giving the proper details about how those injuries and why people are doing this. I work with a dude that used to come to work drunk every single day, get on the RC, drive the thing. He smacked it one day, got suspended. He left, went driving drunk, and he got killed on the freeway. He would come to work like that all the time. Go on 15-minute break, take 3 shots, get back on and drive. He worked himself up to be a lead, to walk around, to double check how many of those doors were double checked right? A lot of it comes up to the person that works in a W-2 also. And these what's up? What's up, Kev? A lot of these people that work in the W-2 don't know how to handle themselves as an employee. So now we have these people that say, well, I don't want to deal with the people controlling me, telling me this, telling me this, telling me that, making me do this and that. I want to go work for myself. I see that DoorDash is here, and we got Uber Eats, we got Grubhub. First of all, I started with Postmates. Postmates was doing it first. I started with Postmates. It was doing it first, and it's still here. You can still order because it's an originator. It was Postmates, then DoorDash came, around the time Postmates did. It was Postmates first. Postmates had a contract with the catering companies like Delivered and Easy Cater and all them, and then they didn't want to do all that catering stuff, so they separated and they only did the regular stuff. That was Postmates first. People. There was Postmates and DoorDash and all these other ones that came on out. People are like, man, what time you go to work? Man, I'll start whenever I want. What? You quit here and you're doing what? Yeah, my brother told me that I can start whenever I want. I get my own hours. I can make what I want to make and everything is cool. You're doing what? Yeah. What time? I start whenever I want. If I want to start at 5 a.m., if I'm up for no reason, I can start. If I'm up at 4 a.m. and I just want to start, I can start. It just depends on what I want to do. The dude at the W-2 now asked the dude, hey, what's the benefits looking like? Ain't no benefits, man. You got to pay for them yourself all the way. Oh, so they don't take some of it out from your check or anything? Nah. No medical, nah. I mean, I'm good. I got a girl, I'm on her insurance, so I'm good. But the next man probably got to go ahead and buy his own. The W-2 dude is looking at, man, do I even want that? He like, what about sick time and vacation time? Well, the best thing about that is right here. I can take off whenever I want and start whenever I want. So I have vacation and I got sick time whenever I want. Oh, word, word, word. That sounds good. Man, you get a company vehicle? Do they supply you with the vehicle? Nah, you use your own car. Yeah, man. Yeah. Here, man. See, I got the company vehicle. But yeah, with my vehicle, I can do whatever I want to do in my vehicle. I can do whatever I want to do in my vehicle. Oh, word, word. So that means you got to pay for all the maintenance yourself? Yeah, I got to pay for all the maintenance myself, everything. But because of how I get paid, I go ahead and buy all my parts and stuff ahead of time. So all I have to do is just have somebody go ahead and put them in, and I just pay for the labor. Oh, word, word. Yeah, because if I buy the parts, I don't got to go ahead and sign up and get on a credit option with whatever shop I'm going to, because it could cost a lot. But I make sure that I go and get everything else done like that. The other dude says, yeah, I do that too. I do that too. Good, good. Man, so do you like it? Yeah, I love it. Are you ever gonna come back to work like us? Nah, I don't think so. Why? Well, I'm free. That's what they think. They're free. That's what they think. I would like to put this out for any driver that is brand new joining any platform that you are trying to do in the gig economy. I want to tell you this. Once you get in, keep your acceptance rate at 80% and higher. Don't get in here and listen to people and have your ratings drop all the way down, because you won't know exactly what you have in front of you to properly assess your situation. You'll figure out that, hey, what they're saying I don't get, and you're able to decline orders and still be in that same bubble there. If you start off declining, you take yourself out of the ability to maximize what you got to do. Okay? This is the expectation. There is, as I went over all that, the expectations are you're thinking the same thing as a W-2 until you figure it out yourself. There is no expectation. But I will tell you this, with no expectation, first of all, there's no goals on how much you want to make, how many hours you want to do a day, how many hours a week. There's none of that. There's no any of that. You got to think. If you come into something blind, why would you take yourself and drive into the small end of the pool? Why would you drive yourself into the back end of the pool? You got to look at it like this. Your only expectation that you should really put for yourself is give yourself an expectation that they would give you at a W-2. Take that probationary period of 90 days. Let's say you're at a temp agency and they're trying to get you converted over for 90 days. In those 90 days, you are not going to mess up so you can get converted to get all those benefits and be hired on permanently, right? So when you start this gig work, there is no way in the world you should start off by not doing your first 90 days all the way the same as if you would in a W-2. In 90 days, you'll have enough orders all the way built up to where you'll see that you are receiving this because of that. Then you'll be able to figure out how do you structure and make your own plan once those 90 days are over. All right. The only expectation is to come in there with the same expectation of the probationary period. Don't have the expectation of money. Now, let's say you're coming in from a place and you're making $19.88 an hour, right? So someone says, well, how much do you make doing the gig work? Well, I make like 25 an hour. All right. Make 25 an hour. Don't expect that you are going to make 25 an hour like whoever you are speaking with. Come on now. Come on now. You got to keep this mentality on every single app that you sign up for as a delivery driver. Now, I went over, there was a question the other night when I'm driving and my wife is doing her DoorDash orders. It was about, do we turn our apps on at the same time and things? No, we don't at all. We want to make sure that on DoorDash, we have the maximum exposure to all what DoorDash has to offer. Okay. On the other apps, we do it like that also. We don't work the apps together so we can maintain the high level that we are on all of those so that when we turn them on, we're able to do what we got to do. There's a lot of people that don't understand that at all and they mess it up. So don't expect to make what somebody else is making because they figured out something that works for them. That may not work for you. That's why you should not go into gig work with the expectation that, you know what, I was mad, I'm gonna do the half-baked, I'm quitting. F you, F you, F you, F you, you're cool. And then you go get this gig work job, and then you realize I should have been there at the DJ shop still. Don't think that because you hear what everybody else says, you're going to come in here and make all that, this buku amount of money. This is why we tell people to pay attention to your regions and everything. That will change your expectations where you live. How far are you from like the major busy place in your city? Yes, sir. Gig, Drive, and Thrive. Yep. How far do you live away from, like, not the hotspot that you see on DoorDash? I'm talking about the hotspot that the city has dubbed a hotspot. How far do you live away from that? And on top of that, how close is it to where you can be in no man's land and you can be stuck there? You got to think about that. Expectations get thrown out the window when you get hit with reality and truth. Did you get that? Expectations get thrown out the window when you are dealing with reality and truth. You can expect, someone can say, man, you go get out here and kill it. You go blow it up. My rookie, Tony Lopez, who is a vet now, the other day, my daughter was in the car with me and my wife. He pulled up Hot Facts with Robert Reese. He's not a rookie no more. He's killing it. He's killing it. He learned for himself. He is killing it. Man, Tony Lopez is killing it. Great job, Tony. Great job. Man. But these expectations, people, that you guys are bringing into this gig space are, the reality and the truth will go ahead and put you in your place. Like I said, you can expect this person to say that you gonna make this, you get in there and you walk away the first week like with your head down. Woo, woo, woo. Sound like a horse in Mr. Ed. What's up, Cruising Dasher? Got you right here. Let me get him in. Let me get him in. You would sound like a horse up there. Like, man, woo, what beat me up? Well, he didn't give you all the insights, man. He didn't tell you the insights. He's trying to make his money for himself, to make sure that he can make his. You got to go ahead and do your own thing. What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
What's going on, Robert? How you doing?
Man, just going, man. I'm doing all right. Something told me that, we got to start to talk to these people about the expectations, before you even start doing this. And there's a lot of people that start doing it, and then they end up seeing that it's not what someone hyped it up to be, and that person ends up trashing and downing the whole system and platform. You know what I mean? And then that stuff spreads. So we got to go over these expectations. Now, let's go over this again. My expectations, I'll go over mine. When my brother told me everything, I was like, shoot, my expectations were I'm going to get the same thing that he's going to be getting because, we're in the exact same area. That's what I thought. But it was different after I went out there. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, he was going to repeat customers and everything, and I was not. So he was making more money off of this and that, and I wasn't even getting that. And I was like, what the heck? So then I was like, okay. And then my brother was like, nah, G. He said, look, everything that we've done in sales, do it here and you'll get your own. And then I said, okay. So my expectation was shot down the drain. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? My wife's
Yeah.
expectation was shot down the drain. She thought she was gonna get 8,000 orders once she turns on the app, and she
Yeah.
was shell shocked. She was shell shocked. She bought rock stars and she was hyped up. I drove her to the gas station to go put gas. She went inside and came out with a whole party pack.
That's funny.
But she was shell shocked though. It was not what her expectations. That's not what it was. Now she understands. So I think I think we should talk about the expectation before you get into it. Before
Yeah.
people start talking about dollars per mile and time for dollar per time. Let's just talk about what you expect from where you came from.
Well, and you said it. If you don't have an expectation, you can't have goals. And I think a lot of people, like for me, I've talked about, I went into the gig economy just randomly, and it just worked for me. But this was also pre-pandemic where it was blown up, so I really didn't have expectations going into it. But now it's completely different than it was even a year ago. You're in the middle, or 2 years ago, if you're in the middle of a pandemic, if you're watching videos from that time, you're going to go into it thinking it's going to be crazy. But in reality, it's not what it is. But it is what you said is, even you're in the same market. You said your cousin was doing it, and then you went into it. Is that what you said? Or your brother?
Oh, my brother. Yeah, my brother.
Yeah. Or you guys were in the same market?
Forget the same market. I would drive over to his apartment and we would start there together.
Yeah.
The exact same place, the exact same. Yeah.
Well, and I think, and I missed the whole beginning of this show, so I'm coming in with probably a little bit less information than I should. But you have to look at it like you do with a job. Like, you're not going to go into it. You're not going to go into a job and become the CEO in a day. Like, so I think it's part of the society right now where people have such an expectation of entitlement, where they think that everything should be magic and happen, and they want that magic pill, and everything's going to be great for them. When in reality, like, you do have to work for things. Like, and you can complain about the system or complain about this, complain about that, but maybe the companies can do a little bit better at saying, hey, this is how you actually become successful. And, let's use DoorDash as an example. Like, what does 50% actually mean AR? What does 70% actually mean? Even us seasonal dashers, we don't even really know what 70% actually gets you, because you still get bad orders. But, the companies could do a better job at that, but you can't come into it with an expectation that you're going to, be making, $1,000 a week your first time, because it's not realistic. You can build up to it.
Let me ask you this, Kevin. You just said something that I've been telling people all the time. We got people out there that think that because your AR is set at a certain height, you're never going to see a bad order. And we got to explain that to them, people. Like, everyone sees bad orders. It doesn't matter where your percentage, you can be at 100%. You're going to see bad orders. Now, that is just what it is. You can't expect to come in and say, I'm only going to be getting $20 orders all day. That's not going to happen. You got to come in and know that, don't come in thinking anything. You can just think you can come in and get a zero, and then you can make something. You cannot come in and think you're going to make all of this per order. And you cannot think that every order is going to be a good order. And I think that many people get sucked into the fact that they're watching these people make all this money, and they're saying, well, all I'm seeing is that's all they're making. That we have to fix that. That's not reality, and that's not the truth.
Well, and a bad order is different for everyone. There is no such thing as the blanket, this is the order that everyone should accept. Now, obviously, obviously at the high end, it's a guarantee almost for everyone. But, those lower orders that you and I would take, those, 4.5 or 450 for, 1 mile, to a lot of people, that's a bad order. But when you accept the terms and conditions to do these apps, you accept everything that comes with it. Now, whether we read them or not, no one reads them. I don't read them. You may have, I didn't. And you find out while you're doing it. Now,
Yeah, you read as you go. I would say most people read as they go. When something happens to them, they go back and read why this happened to them, and then that's how they start going through the terms whenever something happens. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
what most people do.
but it's, and when it comes down to it is, you accepted terms and conditions to work for this app, or be a contractor, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm not really going to get into that, but they are a platform that gives you access to thousands more orders that you would not have access to. Millions, depending on the size of your city.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in an ideal world, would it be great if we could all branch off and have our own company and, reach out to all these merchants? Yes. But is it worth it to these restaurants to go to just you and filter every single order, which is not practical? Yes, is DoorDash's and Uber Eats fees crazy high? Of course. Like, restaurants are getting destroyed by it. We know that. But some restaurants are willing to take that because the volume of orders are keeping it up. And unfortunately, those mom and pop shops are the ones that are suffering from it. So I think, if you can find a way to do that, it's great. But all these companies they're platforms. They give us access. They give customers. They give restaurants. They give those two people access to a platform to get their orders fulfilled and make money off of. And
let me ask you this: what do you feel about now? Now I like Brian DoorDash Suggs, the DoorDash gig economy police. I like him. We agree on some similar things, but we have a split there on where we disagree. People, you don't agree with everyone on 100% of everything, and I'm going to go on what we don't agree on here. He thinks that there should be a mandatory uh, tip amount per delivery for the people, because he says we are the restaurant, and these apps are set up to get the customers in contact with us. I feel that no, it's set up that the apps are set up to get the restaurants in contact with the customers.
yeah.
And we cannot make them just say, hey, we want to make you just like, he thinks $10 tip no matter what. What do you feel about that?
Did you say
Also, oh
$10?
wait. And before you do, Hustle Clee is in the building. This is you guys are paired up for the boardroom when it goes down. It's gonna be you and Hustle Clee. So he's doing a great job. You're doing a great job here. Let me read his question here. Salute my man. He goes out trying to do $400 days. Watching this thing there. Watch this. It says the biggest misconception people have is that it's easy. It's hard to be profitable doing this and requires you to do your due diligence. Yes, you got to do your due diligence. You can't just come in like, come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Well, and that's a good thing. And I'm going to touch on two things here. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, people think that, the companies need to pay more. We know that. There's something that has to change with that. With the whole $10 tip, I don't understand how that's even possible. Because if a customer orders $10 of food, they're supposed to give you 100% tip. I mean, I don't know about that, but to me, I don't care where the money comes from. If and I proposed a possible solution to DoorDash paying more, but Red from Gig Wars official didn't really agree with me. But basically the way I put it is, if they're putting so much of a emphasis on AR, after a certain amount of percentage,
Oh, you're
Maybe,
going off of what your video did. You broke that
yeah,
down from the 100 all the way down to like
yeah,
70, 50%. You broke that down.
yeah. Well, and it doesn't even have to be that exact percentage, but I think if DoorDash wanted to get more orders delivered and less food cold, then I think that would be a good solution. But in the end, I don't really care if DoorDash is going to pay me $10 to go 5 miles, or a customer is going to pay me $8 and DoorDash should pay me $2 to go 5 miles. I don't care. In the end, would, as a customer in any circumstance, do I tip 25% plus on everything I do? Yes, because I appreciate people who do a service. But not everyone thinks like that, and I can't use my beliefs on how I would do things to determine how other people should do their things. I can only control what I do.
Right.
But
So
I don't care where the money comes from.
right, you're thinking in a way that I do, and I know that UDM thinks this way also. Well, from what he says, if I see, like you said, if I see $15 order, right, and it's telling me it's 5 miles. Now, when I get that, I'm accepting that order based upon what I see right there. That's good enough for me to pick that up and go ahead and do it. Now, when I get that order and drop it off, why am I expecting something extra off of when that was all the way good enough for you in the first place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care who pays what portion if it equals that total right there. If something comes extra, that's what it does. Like yesterday, I had one of my worst deliveries ever on Walmart Spark. I go in there and shop. I go bust it out. I get all the way to the house, walking the groceries up, and something in my head said, "There's something not right here." And one of the roommates came and said, "Where's the dog food?" So I'm looking for the dog food. I'm like, "Oh, I left the dog food at the Walmart. I had to drive all the way back to the Walmart. They had my dog food in the bag still. They were going to send it as a go back. I got it, drove it all the way back, wouldn't ring the doorbell, right? When I rang the doorbell, the person that ordered was not the roommate. It was the person that ordered the food and said, "I was just about to report this." I said I went all the way back to get it because I realized it was not here. Turn that in, and guess what? I got an
They
extra
still report
$5
it.
tip on
Oh,
Walmart Spark for
okay.
having that done. So that happened to me yesterday, people. That happened to me yesterday, and I was like, "Wow, I wasted gas because I have to drive, go do it, you know." And then I got there, come back, then drive back. But people, it was not that far of a drop off. Like it was 3 miles. So 3 miles, I got paid $15 for three miles, and they gave me an extra five. So going back, so it ends up being 6 miles for $20 in the whole total, which is still not bad. Which like $20 for 6 miles is still not bad. But all in all, that's what happened to me yesterday. And I was just going off of what I had to do from when I accepted. I got that, but I had to do some extra work. I had
Well,
to.
and here's the thing, and that's I think the key thing that a lot of people in this space don't want to do. They don't want to do the extra work. And in an ideal situation, none of us want to have to go do that. But there are some orders that you are gonna have to do more for. Like when I was doing Instacart and Shipt, there was times where I forgot a bag, or and the store was 5-10 miles away, and I was like, you know what? This is my fault. It's not their fault. They paid for something. And you realize, like, well, if it were me, or actually, first of all, you didn't realize, you didn't grab the bag, so it was on you. And the negative was going to be they were going to report you. And some people, and that's why a lot of people don't want to do shopping orders in general, just because it's too much work for them. And I just don't understand that, because shopping orders, I'm gonna preach this till the day I die, man. Shopping orders are the highest possible opportunity out of anything in this gig space. But people don't want to do the work. They see sending a text message to the customer as a burden, when it's the most rewarding thing, and it probably keeps his job the most. It keeps it from being mundane, because if you're just dropping off food and never seeing people, like, it gets pretty boring pretty quickly and pretty lonely. But the shopping apps are nice because you actually get interaction.
You get some good interaction because some of these people on these shopping orders have been done so bad by these drivers who don't
It's not
care
hard.
that when you go and do it the right way, it's like it's great. I go to this house over here, the same house. Every driver who does the Walmart Spark knows the house. We call it the white envelope house. There's $20 in the envelope.
Yep.
Whenever you go drop off your order, and everything has to be done right. Suggestions, they are on for the suggestions. They instantly live chat everything. You do it all right, that $20 envelope is sitting right on the door. We love that place. But see, that person does that because of someone not being in communication with them.
Yeah.
Not letting them know. How many times were they burned before and they got to go through Walmart customer support, try to get the refund for the item that never came. They got to try to prove it and do all that stuff. You know what I mean? Some drivers don't communicate. And what I saw from your videos, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I said, he's doing this. Now, he went up on Pedro's live. And by me watching his videos, if they actually watch this guy's videos, they ain't going to like what he does. They're gonna think that Kevin is a clown because he's crossing his T's and dotting his I's. But I'm like, he's crossing his T's and dotting his I's because he sees the overall big picture of his own personal business. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't. I'll bring Bud Soda in. I've heard him say many of times, I should be able to accept the order from as many different apps at one time and then be able to decide on which one I want to drop off first because I'm an independent contractor. That just goes backwards on everything, like on how you would handle your thing. You would actually, you know what? They gave me this one. This one's dropped off first. I'm following it, and I'm going there. Bam, bam, bam. The way you do it, you're gonna be more successful. Not only having a better day without having arguments or getting a headache from a customer being mad at you, and you're stressing about that customer that you got into it with. You ain't even getting any of that. You ain't even getting any of that. You alleviate all of that, and then it's a higher chance of you getting some extra. Is it going to happen every single time? No, but it's going to happen more often than someone that just goes out there and does what the hell they normally do.
Well, and it's simple things like, in I find it funny when people talk about, especially on Instacart, because I don't know the percentage exactly, but let's say even 60% of customers, they tip by percentage. Most people in the gig space don't want to even ask about a replacement, but what they don't realize is every item they refund is a decrease in their pay. I'm sorry, but if the customer's tipping 20%, and you're returning a $10 item, that's $2 you're losing every $10 item. Like, instead you could have just said, hey, they don't have this, they have this. Is that okay? And
you
it's
said
like
$2, you're losing $2 just like that. If you get to one of them, it's one of them days to where they don't have anything, but you just don't want to spend that time to get that. Let's say it's like 8 to 10 items. You just lost. Ooh,
yeah.
Hey, great. You know what? Can you do that again? No, people, this is great. That's great information. He broke it down to the item return. Can you do that again and
Yeah.
do that again?
So what people don't understand is, with specifically Instacart and Shipped as well, I think you can tip by percentage as well before. But every item you return, you may think it's nothing because it's just one item, but then it's another item, and then it's another item, and then it's another item. Where, especially with the rising costs right now, if they're spending a $10 item and you return it without saying, hey, I've got a similar item, you're losing, let's say, 20% every single item. So 20% on a $10 item, $2. 20% on a $16 item is $3.20. Like, all those littles add up. Where, and another important thing, in the beginning of the order. Is there anything you wanted to add? Like, that's an easy way to get $5-10 more on your tip, especially if they're like, because usually when you say that to them, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot diapers, I forgot soda, and soda's like $10 a 12-pack
you
now.
good, Kevin. You good. No, you good. You gave a secret out. Look, you just gave a secret out. People, if you are listening and you are in the gig world, you heard exactly what he just said. He just gave you a secret. I'm not going to go back over it. I'm just going to let you know, and I'm just going to break it down simply here. There can be return items to where you lose money on. Now, think about this. If you ask them, is there anything else they want to add on? You can replace the item that's going to be missing, and they're going to give you an extra tip, which means you're going to make more money. Now, if you did not get that from what he said, then you ain't doing your gig work right, people. I pay attention when someone speaks. Go ahead, Captain. I love that one.
But yeah, I mean, it's just simple stuff, and that's where, you know, people, they look at the only negative, the downsides of communication, and that's, you know, I don't want to take any more time out of my day, but like, if you spend an extra, let's say 10 minutes, and that's stretching it during in an order. If you spend an extra 10 minutes on an order, and it makes you an extra $10, like that's $60 an hour that you just made. If you break it up, if you know, $10, 10 minutes, that's $60 an hour for people who don't math well. But the little bit of communication that you have to do, and that's just off of tip percentage. That's only based off that. That's not including all these apps now. Every single app can tip after the fact. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Instacart, Shipped. Every single app gives you the opportunity. And the fact that you actually took the time to find out what their needs were and meet their needs and exceed their needs. Like,
oh no, Red said, Kevin, Robert hates Instacart. Robert, Kevin, and I love Instacart. Yeah, I don't do Instacart anymore. My experience when I went, I got hit with the extremely whole restaurant on when I was like, oh no. So I switched from Instacart. I still do shopping. I just don't do whole restaurants and stuff. I do Walmart Spark, and that's what I do. I figured out which one worked for me. I figured it out. I figured. Yeah,
well, but it's universal. It's not just Instacart. It's just the mindset that people have to get that, you either have people that have the mindset. Like I put a video out on Shipped yesterday, and just basically talking about how people are missing, like, how big of a deal it is, like how much money you can make on it, because so many people are like, oh, I don't want to do this, I want to do this, and then Saturn put a comment on it like, you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, cool, bro. Like, just keep doing your thing and I'll do my thing. And because one thing I know, when I was doing Shipped, and there are thousands of people that are making full-time income on Shipped, and they don't even have to think about it. It's easy. And it's the same with Instacart. And I haven't worked it since they implemented the Diamond program or the tier program, but these shopping apps, you can easily make a full-time income just on the shopping apps and not have to touch DoorDash, not have to touch Uber Eats or Grubhub. But people don't want to take that extra step. But what they want to do is complain that DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub aren't paying them enough. Where if you just took that time that you were complaining and just put it into working another app that's actually working, like, or Spark. I never.
I haven't touched. Look. I haven't touched Uber Eats in like 2 months because Spark has they fixed the problems in my area that was keeping me away from doing it like I'm doing it now. And now that they fixed them, it benefits me way more to only do Spark and the shopping orders than go waste my time doing anything else. So, and the craziest thing is I'm looking at because Uber still has a Walmart contract. So you still see inside the store the people doing the Walmart orders on Uber. And I just walk up to them. how much you getting paid on it. And then the difference is you get paid instantly on Uber. Instantly on Walmart, you gotta wait, the whole week or like whatever, unless you have the Uber, the Walmart one, you can
Mm-hmm.
get paid directly that day. But they do the Uber version so they can get paid instantly. But I'm looking at like the lady was in there doing a shopping pay, and she was maybe like 70 years old, like just don't want to be at home. And the other dude was talking to her, and then I jumped in the convo because I know the other dude, and then I'm sitting there like, what? Which she was getting paid for, like, we pretty much had almost the same amount of items and miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
She got cheated out of $20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She got cheated out of $20. But the difference is there, see, on Walmart Spark in California, if you have Proposition 2022, they count the customer tip. On Uber, they don't count the customer's tip.
Oh, okay.
So they have to take more money in to be able to give to the other drivers in the state for Prop 22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. But I
man.
gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
Think about, like society
Mm-hmm.
and the system and how it's set up. Why is it that not many people look at the social aspect and the economic aspect when they're thinking about the gig they want to drive and the money they want to make?
What do you mean economic aspect? I get the
All
social
right,
aspect.
so the economic aspect can be broken down into your zones for how it's set up. You can have a higher end neighborhood over here on this side of town. It's lower end and this and that, this part of town, So I'm talking about the economic, impact on certain things. And then the social aspect. It seems like, you would want to take a look at everything that's going on socially in your city, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you should want to go with the economics. Why is it that people go away from that and they just want to just look at this other stuff? Why do they go away from what those stats show? Those stats can help you out.
Well, I don't think the majority of people who do these gig apps, they don't do it full time. So I think what happens is they're doing it on the side of their jobs, majority of them, and they kind of just do it as a this is just extra money, and they don't really care. This is just something to pay for a phone bill. This is to pay for a car insurance. Now, I think those people end up, because when they start seeing they're making some money, they say, oh, okay, well, I can make more. And they try to go to that full time. But they still have that same mindset of, I'm going to work it as a part-timer. And they don't want to do that extra research. I mean, a lot of people don't want to do a whole lot of extra research. Or they'll do the very minimum amount of research. They'll listen to one person on YouTube, and then they'll take everything at face value and not worry about, like, all right, Robert here is in California. I live in, Idaho. Like, I'm going to apply exactly what he says to my zone. And you can't do that. Especially since COVID, a lot of people have, I don't want to say gotten dumber, but they think less. They want other people to think for them. So when that happens, they can't take responsibility for that at a base level. And it's not just the gig apps. It's just the world we live in right now. It's crazy. And if you come into the gig economy, however you come into the gig space, you're gonna live your gig space life like you do your regular life. And if you come into it not doing research, not tweaking things as you get better, like if you're okay just being the bottom of the totem pole and you're happy, how you expect you're going to become the CEO of your own gig space? You're not. You're just going to be at the bottom and you're just going to stay there. But you have to constantly be tweaking, man. These apps change way too quick. The the season, just look at season changes. We have 4 seasons a year. You have to look at, all right, in cold states. I live in Ohio. Like, I know during the winter there's going to be less people here, so you have to adjust for that. In Florida, that you're in California, people are going to be visiting, so it's going to be busier at this time. This app's going to be better than that app. It's not as simple. And Hustle Cleveland said exactly, like, you have to be tweaking, and you have to be adjusting if you want to be making money full time.
Right. You have to. People, pay attention to this stuff. This is the good stuff here. I hope you guys grab some positive information out of this. I want you guys to know that Gig, Drive, and Thrive, there, people, go ahead and check this channel out. You heard some good positive words, good information, and he gave you guys some hidden jewels. He gave you some hidden jewels that you guys should go ahead and keep in the bank. Make sure you head on over there, click that subscribe button, and if you do, let them know that Hot Facts with Robert Reed sent you over there, and give him some just due, give him his love. He's a hot crew member, people. He's a hot crew member, which means that, hey, when I'm doing videos, when I'm doing lives, his channel is being shouted out. And you know why? Because you heard what the hell he just said. Nothing he said was fake and felonious. That was all the way excellent information there. Make sure you head on over there. Gig Wars Official has been in the chat. They are now in Canada now, people. They are trying to go worldwide. If you want to go ahead and put your numbers to the test and compare them to other drivers all around the U.S., make sure you head on over there. Head to Gig Wars Official. Let her know over there. Let everybody know that Hot Facts with Robert Reed sent you. That's another hot crew member who has a channel that's bringing some excitement and bringing a little bit of competitive nature to the drivers out there. Make sure you tune on in. Canada, make sure you tune on in. I know I got a few of you guys that watch me here from Canada. Make sure you guys go ahead and tune on in and get that in. Make sure you go ahead whenever you see George, Hulk Smash, give him a high five and a thumbs up. He shows up and speaks his mind and does it the way he is supposed to. All right, now, people, we're at the end of the rope here. We're at the end of the road here. I'm going to let Kevin go ahead and give his final words.
All I got to say is get on shopping if you can. That's all I'm going to say. Get on shopping, communicate with your customers, and go make some money.
All right, now, people, go make that money. Don't be no dummy. I don't want to see you guys, stuck in the mud and all that other stuff. I want to hear positive experiences from people out there. Every situation is different. Everyone can learn from a situation and adapt from certain things, good or bad. Let us know what you got going on. Stay true to yourself at all times and respect everyone out there. And if you haven't found the right app that you think that works for you, I will go ahead and switch them up and kind of put some earmuffs on and shadow some people out so you can focus on yourself a little more and then go do something. It might be an app that you never thought you were going to do that pops on in, and then that is your go-to moneymaker.
Well,
you never know what it's going to be.
Before we finish, don't do a day's worth of work and give up on it. You can't give whatever app you're doing, you can't give it a day, you can't give it 2 days, you can't give it a shift. You got to probably give it a week. Like, there might be some weeks that, I've done this where there's been changes or app changes where I had a bad week, but then I figured it out and then it was the best thing I've ever done. So you have to give it time. Don't quit after, don't quit after one shift. Don't quit after one day, or give it at least a week or two before you decide if it's going to work for you.
Yes, sir. People, with that being said, I want to send some prayers out there to all the families who have lost someone over there in, it's going to be the whole Middle East pretty soon, people. This thing is going to explode. So, and what the great book says, We are in those times. I just want to go ahead and send some prayers and some love out on all sides who are losing people. Everyone goes through those same emotions. In my city here, some of the stores, it's Hamas. Some of the other stores, it's Israeli. So when you go in, you hear a lot of negative talk when you go into some of these stores. I just want people to know that wherever you are, stay united. Keep God up there, and hopefully this can be resolved before it goes into WW3. Okay, that's
Amen.
all I gotta say. Everybody stay safe. Stay safe. Think about others before you think about you. It helps sometimes. We out of here like Chuck Woolery in 2 and 2. See you guys later.